the last thought before you sleep is the first thought when you wake up, then what that thought is gonna be multiplied, then your aim is to make a step towards the next level.
Welcome back to Mulligan Brothers. Today's video, as always, was sponsored by Huel. I'm drinking Huel Black Edition, which has 26 vitamins and minerals, 35 grams of protein and slow release carbs to make sure that I can stay satiated whilst I make these documentaries. If you want to find out more about these, go to the link in the description. I'll talk about them a little bit later on in the video.
I love that. You know, we spoke about this before about sort of levels of consciousness. I think, I don't know how you described it. We talk about sort of, we live out of instinct, and then we live for other people, then we live for truth.
Yeah.
But it's really nice hearing the way you speak about, you know, serving the SAS, being respected, across the British nation, you know, like you say, like the Gurkhas, well, everyone says it, you know, super respected for all those attributes that you have. But then to have the humbleness to thank people, it's really beautiful. Maybe we could, you know, transition into those sort of three levels of consciousness that we spoke about earlier and how it sort of applies to, you know, some of your history and some of other people's lives as well.
Yeah, truly. So, like we say, this is the Nepalese Christmas time. We call the Dasai. A lot of us, actually Nepalese, we are not unaware what is the reason and science behind the ancient culture. Is we call this now, we start count down the 3 stages for the Nepalese Christmas time, and this is where exactly the sun and moon crossing point time, and this is the full moon time, full moon day. Upcoming full moon day is the Saturday. Yeah, this is where the shift happened to the earth furthest way from the sun happening. As emotional like mind, so we put the 3 different categories. Truly who you are. So one is all our thought and all our intellectual education, all our identity, who you are, and all our memories. We gather this life and the ancestor, genetical and biological and DNA in the memories. Now, scientists are proven from any living like rock, earth, air, any living creature in this universe and the human being, DNA same. The only missing link is what is the subconscious thing we are detached. So this everything, the all memories and every, you know, like intellectual only work and thought is come to survive our identity, whatever you believe. For example, Thapa is SAS, Gurkha, and the spiritual leader. So my thought process and my identity, everything is work for that. And anything is not protecting that identity became negative. Yeah. Anything which is protecting my identity, what I believe is good for me, that became positive. But in a bigger term, it's not so. Now there is always gap, isn't it? So that is the first level of our thought. It is very important. Maybe you can start doing this one next 3 or 4 days. Go deep down, all the thought and action you did. And what is that for? Is this for everything is protecting who I am? That's the first level, identity. Second is we call the Rajasiks. Rajasiks is Nepalese, but the direct translation is service. So if you are parents, if you have a kids, normally, or the people in society like social service, like soldier, and then all the people who live their dream and work to, of course, make themselves a little bit whatever they believe, but also the service for other, you know, service for family, service for the partner, service for the work, or the service for the country. So what this is the next level of identity, because they never have an identity. See, in the so-called public eye, they are not like, oh, I'm this, I live this life, but they are kind of general people living and doing day-to-day work for them and for the people or whatever environment. So this is called the service life. And again, the third or the ultimate is the truth. The people who genuinely, come out, spend the time on their own, spend the time in Eastern philosophies. That's what we call the monk or the guy who live in the cave, or people who dedicated their life for one thing and one thing only. Those are the people who really don't want anything. They don't want anything from anyone else. They never ask for, but they live their life purely. And because from now, if you look at the three perspective of thought and action, what they do and how their thought create is actually quite vast different. The people who work for themselves, their identity is, everything from them. They own, they live, and they live whatever he or she believe. And the mid layer is who work for themselves and for other, do the service, half for them. And other one is purely universal. What is the truth? Gratitude, kindness, and love, and never ask, never be the problem for yourself and for other. That's regardless what you're going through in life, it's just a physical pain. But if you so much devoted for one thing, nothing gonna stop, isn't it? The pain is pain. You don't have legs, you don't have eyes, you got a chronic disease. But if you have a devotion of the commitment and the life of service, you can still happy and peace. Whatever environment, whatever situation throwing at you, you can deal it because your motto and your service is for beyond who you are.
If you're like me and millions of other people, you probably lead a busy life, and that's where this stuff comes in absolutely clutch. I know that I just scoop, shake, and go, and I'm ready for my day. There are other companies that are trying to do what Huel is trying to do, but they use cheap ingredients. Sometimes it requires you to take 15 pills, or preparing food, trusting supplements with subpar ingredients, and also taking 15 pills a day is just something that we don't all want to do. That's where Huel makes health possible. Black Edition has 40 grams of protein in, 26 vitamins and minerals, and every single ingredient inside this has been carefully selected by Huel's expert team. So you're getting the good stuff. Don't just take my word for it. Millions of other people around the world are now using Huel as part of their daily routine. People like Idris Elba, Stephen Bartlett from the Diary of a CEO, Hardest Geezer, the man who ran the entire length of Africa, was using this stuff. If you want to join the movement, go to the link down below where you can get a free t-shirt, a free shaker, and also if you subscribe to Huel, you can get 10% off every single order. This is next freaking level. Go get some.
So this time, the 3 level of identity, I think it's maybe good idea for everyone who is listening. No one can do us for you. No one can do you are the only person who can find truly, because when we're speaking, it's never be a truth. It's in who you are. So if you look at your action every evening before you sleep, because the last thought before you sleep is the first thought when you wake up. Yeah, if you can just monitor that last thought and first thought of the day, and where is that come from, and what is that to do, and then you can start right. You can put in the first level, second or third. Then your aim during the sun going away from the dark and cold is to make a step towards the next level. Then when it come to like in autumn time, it start summer, then what that thought is gonna be multiply, then it's became more and more. Then the greatest thing is your mental strength, the suffering, the mental health, because we are focusing for the goodness and kindness, because you are changing and shifting. That means, like I said, the Buddha's teaching in 2005 years ago is to work on the devotion basis. Then you believe, because the universal energy is supporting us, and that start healing. Then we start healing, and you go next year, you are next level. And that's how the drip impact the whole, philosophy of, like ancient wisdom is to normally when the egoistic form or identity form is best limit in our physical and our memory and our mental attitude, because we're living in our own identity. Whatever I believe, that is limit with my physical and mental ability. But the whole aim of tapping the true human and the evolved human is go beyond our own identity. That's why you access the energetic form of the sun, moon, and planets. And once you have that identity beyond ourselves, is then we're going to use, and all the healing form can be accessed through the outside force. And then there will be no suffering. Everything can be putting in perspective. Of course, we're going to have to still wake up and deal with situation, but it will help us to, solve the problem easily. So these are the categories, maybe more than anything maybe all the people who are listening can be transformed and transcend their limitation with the small, meditation every day with only single thought.
Now is like a good time to do that.
This is the perfect time, because this is the universal, time. As you all know, we had a great summer, then we are now going to the winter, and this is the time just changing by this Saturday. We need to survive. We need to fight. Regardless of who we are and what we have, doesn't really matter if you are dead. We need to act a warrior. Otherwise, we became nothing and no one.